and I'm currently outside with the donuts waiting. So this is when Jeffers was like, yeah, we're just outside your office all the time. And Steve was like, no, Sigma was when we raid the pet shelter for homeless kittens, preying on Stephanie's weakness. Donuts are planned how? Jeez, why do we even bother having these practice runs on the weekend? Wait, which one was Epsilon? I thought the kittens are Epsilon. I should probably go ahead and return the bubble machine then. We're not going to need that for a few weeks, right? And Alfie's like, what is going on in this thread? This is Steve and Jeffers and their, like, amazing thread about, like, oh wow, is the stream gone? I'm so sorry. I didn't notice the stream crashed. I'm so sorry. What was the last thing you saw, like, before the stream crashed? Was it just me talking about, like, the stuff? Okay, so, like, if you want to go back, it's just me in kindergarten. Like, at some point I was like, okay, here's the scaffolding. Here's the bad scaffold. Like, here's scaffolding that's not, like, meshing correctly. And then, like, I figured out that I could solve the scaffolding problem by assigning each scaffolding a number. And then, like, then now we're in kindergarten with the berry bushes and, like, oh, like, here, like, you know. Okay, and then, like, finally I got the scaffolding working and it took like a week or whatever, and then now we're talking about puppies. And I just thought that this was really great because this was actually my wallpaper at the time, and, you know, they're talking about bringing us free kittens so that they can, like, live in the dumpster behind the office and, like, just become part of the team. And dude, guys, I really wish you had, like, that would have been really amazing. Okay, now puppies. Moving on. I'm kind of worried about why I took this picture. Like, old churches get makeovers as homes? Like, was I just trying to remember what, like, stuff was doing? New product to create drinking water from the Red Sea will also boost shrinking. Okay, you know, I don't know. Can we do I don't know. Let's just keep going. I don't understand the news. I was really into this. Leak: government spies snooped in Warcraft, other games. Spies with surveillance agencies in the United States and the United Kingdom may have spent time undercover as orcs and blood elves, infiltrating video games like World of Warcraft, like, in a hunt for terrorists, hiding in plain sight online. Okay, let's just keep going, because I don't... Yes. Sorry, Chris. You're probably not watching the stream. I guess I've been photoshopping you into things for a while. Apologies. Yeah, print screen misclicks. Well, you know, yeah, right, whatever, okay. Undoubtedly, this is just a picture. Oh, right, no, see, Mally, like, when I first found this comment, I thought it was very weird. And I took a picture and I sent it to Tony and I was like, yo, what's this comment doing? And he was like, this comment explains this code. And I was like, that's not helping me. It's really not helping me. Anyway. Right, so this is like what's inside Stonehearth. Sorry, there's a lot of projects. You're all just like, those headlines make more sense than modern headlines. Sorry? What is it? The modding section of the stream? No, this is the, like, best pictures ever with Stephanie section of the stream. Which of the team members didn't exist? Well, Steve, Adamo, and Jeffers didn't actually come by the office, which was unfortunate. Oh, right. This is the first time that we had head displacement problems. And, like, see, everyone's, like, carrying stuff, but their heads are displaced from their bodies, and everyone's hungry. So I thought that that was just amazing and just useful. Like, just as a commentary on, like, what it's like to build a game. Like, days often feel like this at the beginning, where you're like, I don't really know if my head is attached to my body, but, okay, cool. Alright, so, like, we're just going through my surprises folder. This is, a folder with 5 years of random pictures in it, that kind of depict what's going on with the game as it developed that I saved. Let's see. They were so hungry they lost their heads, right? Yeah, okay. Again, this is just, like, I don't know, like, I tell you, like, Stonehearth, right? I think a lot about existential things, like, about what happens to the Hearthlings when we close the world and all that stuff. And it really started to get to me that they were always thinking about chicken and there was no chicken. Right? Look, my scaffolding screwed up again. I'm probably still working on scaffolding and crying silently to myself. My entire contribution to building, Chris, was me working on the scaffolding. I'm so sorry. This was when we first started to get world generation into the game. This was the first time the world looked like a world. So thank you, Albert. This is probably you. Notice how the berry bushes are clustered? Like, this was, like, amazing because this was, like, previous to this, everything was just micro worlds. This was like, oh my god, we've got a game now. Look, there's a map now. Look, these berry bushes, this is Hyrule. This is really Hyrule. And we were just so happy and proud of ourselves. But, you know, immediately when you have a world, you have questions like what happens when you fall off the end of the world. So I actually, like made this into a demotivational poster at some point. I think it was called Social Isolation. You can't do this anymore. Oh, exclusivity. Right. Yeah. Right. Yes, and also Pythagoras was wrong about, you know, the fact that the world, the roundness of it, and other stuff. Okay, cool. Moving on. People still modding the graphics test. This is the astronaut mod from the original, like, original, maybe Alpha 1, and I thought that it was so amazing. It's just like all these astronauts have landed on a planet and they're all starving, and yeah, it's great. And romance. Like, you know, I'm thinking about chicken, you're thinking about something else, maybe? But cool, like, cool. Let's keep going with this. Our original audio designer, Doug Pryor, just spent all of his time trying to make the fences connect. Nikki, if you're watching this right now, know that you are not the only person who wanted a fence tool. Like, Doug Pryor's goal was he would just play Stonehearth over and over and over again, just trying to get the fences to, like, go all the way around a stockpile, and the game would, like, always crash. Like, oh right, Doug, who doesn't exist, of course. Doug, I just want to say, like, wherever you are right now, I know you left a long time ago, but I hope you're having a great time, and the music or the sounds you put in the game and the way you coordinated Raj's music was really beautiful. So anyway, Doug was always trying to make fences, and he was always frustrated because, you know, you can only make fences in an odd number of voxels and, like, all this kind of stuff, but some screenshots from his early attempt to create cozy spaces using fences, because clearly, like, the housing isn't working. Also, this is Alpha 1, so the roofs are all ghosts, and no one knew how to build roofs yet. Right, more astronauts. This was, I believe, a very early version of a Varian's Nihonjin mod, so, like, people are now wearing, like, sandals with, like, geta, like, Hearthlings only have 3 toes, so it's kind of weird, don't think about it too much. Obi, and, like, this, like, very awesome replacement for the banner, which I thought was very, very cool. And this was a Romans mod that came out at around the same time, which I thought was really cool because actually, like, the Phoenix Empire is strongly inspired by Rome, and by, like, you know, Romulus and Remus, like, you know, founding Rome together on the top of this hill, and look, it's like a bird, right? It's like, oh, like the Firebird, which is, like, ended up becoming the Phoenix Empire's primary city. But anyway, Romans. Also, for those of you who have ever read the Codex Alera, which I think Steve Adamo ended up reading on my recommendation after we talked about this mod, it's about, like, a lost Roman legion that ends up on a high fantasy universe, and, like, they all develop cool magic powers. And this, it just made me feel like, oh look, like, these poor Romans have wound up on Hearth somehow. You're wait, Moe, like, 2212, this is your mod? Thank you. Thank you for reclaiming it and mentioning it. And you're still working on it now, 5 years later. I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's not just us still working on this game 5 years later. Okay, so you can't build a house, so the best you can do is build a fence, so look, everything's in the fence, and everyone's still starving. Like, I just feel like the story of early Stonehearth is like all the Hearthlings are just starving all the time. I'm so sorry. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Let's take a closer look. I think this is a very generous person who's pointing out all the things that are currently wrong with the game. Like, how is it possible to have negative 15 wood? Like, I should have run out of wood a long time ago, according to the counter, but I have 19 plus pieces of wood and 23 pieces of stockpiles. I ordered 5 picket fences and she's been making 20 plus now. She hasn't stopped. These two switch places. The other one either picks up the wood and drops it. The other one's frozen thinking about food while carrying the piece of wood. When the starving one gets tired, she sleeps for 5 seconds and swaps places with the other one. These 3 workers are moving these 4 pieces of wood and the block of berries back and forth. Even though I ordered them to pick up those berries, they only picked them up and left them on the ground to continue with the stockpiles. So those of you who, like, remember summon scaffolding, right? Whoosh! Okay, those of you, like, who played Alpha 1 remember, Hearthlings have an OCD problem. Like, deep inside of them, they, like, have to pick things up and put things down over and over and, like, make perfect stockpiles. Whoever sent this bug, bless you. I've often said, I've often thought, I don't know if I've also often said it, that, you know, like, Stonehearth was our first game. It was also our first startup. Like, so first game, first startup. Lots of startups fail, by the way. Like, 90% of them fail. And I think 90% of games fail too. So first startup, first game, got a bunch of people who are, like, really smart engineers. We have no idea what we're doing. Like, this is certainly a bug report about the game. But if you like, you can look at this thing and imagine that this is me and Tom and Tony and Chris and Albert, and, like, this is what's happening. Like, oh my god, why are you doing what I'm doing? Why do you keep picking up and putting down that code? Why are we working on building? What is wrong with scaffolding? Oh my god, there's no food in the refrigerator. Oh my god, there's no furniture in the house. We have no chairs. Do I have to code on the floor? Did someone get the sausage? Like, who's eating the sausage? Like, these are my memories from early Stonehearth, and I would not trade them for anything. Because making a startup is actually like forming your own family, and you actually don't really get to do that in real life, like, because, you know, you inherit your family, and these are some of the best memories of my life. So as confusing as this screenshot is, and as perfectly as it reflects symbolically, like, what life was like then, like, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. Okay, Moe2012 says, I hope in August I can release a first version of that mod. Lost all my bottles! Oh no! You know, I think I tell Tom all the time when he's working on Cubicle to save more often, and then, like, please save it somewhere where we can all access it, so please do that. Yes. Okay, what else? Let's see. Okay, cool. This looks like the house is almost finished. The clock is in. Like, we're moving around the UI. Goodness. Okay, more of, like, sadness. Right! Oh my god, this is amazing! I don't even remember what happened, but during Alpha 1, people would send us reports that the render had gone completely crazy, and it looked to me like the Rapture. Like, seriously, like, what's going on in this photo? Like, I have no words for this photo. Like, 100% it's a bug, but, like, it's magical and special, and, like, just, wow. Angelo, wow, if you're watching this, like, hey, can we do this? Like, can we have, like, a rainbow day that, like, goes completely bananas? The sky is leaking, right? The sky is leaking. It's not even the sun now. It's everything. Everything is a rainbow, like, thing that goes to the heavens. Okay. And now we move from the sublime to the prosaic. Like, she's eating, but for some reason, when she's rotated this way, her plate is, like, behind her. And she's still thinking about chicken. I'm still thinking about chicken. This was when scaffolding used to be impenetrable to hearthlings. And so they couldn't walk through the scaffolding. And so this person's just in jail. Okay. More pictures. Right. These are mammoths. No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are mammoths. They're just mammoth bodies. Hey, Kythandra! I'm sorry you missed it. We looked at your amazing, awesome thing. Wait, is the stream stuck again? I'm sorry if the stream is stuck again. Okay, we looked at, Kythandra, we looked at your amazing castle. I'm just gonna reload this page. No, okay, so maybe, like, the stream is just stuck for me. And hopefully it's muted? It's muted. Alright, and the haunt level's rising because, like, for some reason, the lights just went off. Hello, lights. Anytime, lights. Okay. Stream's okay. Cool. Alright, it was just my version of the stream that was gone. Okay, and the haunt level's back and the lights are back. Right, so these are mammoths. They're just stuck in the ground. That's awesome. Or maybe they're boars. They might also be boars. Yeah, so lots of things have happened in the history of Stonehearth. These excellent original landmarks, Mally, if you're watching, were made out of animal parts. So, Kythandra, thank you so much for your amazing castle. We looked at it in great detail at the beginning about an hour ago. Thank you for making it for us. We had a really good time. Okay, right. Right. So this is when we just made the boars really big and stuck them all over the landscape. Yes. Don't think about it too much. Right, now everyone's asleep. This is a really, really, really lovely wallpaper someone made for us out of all of the art, all of the pre-promo art that Tom had made. You know, I'm not very good with words. Like, I think you just discovered this. Maybe you just actually already knew. Oh look, it's the campfire icon that I haven't seen in a million years. And the berry bush icon before we realized everything in Stonehearth is square. This is another original version of the placement UI. Like, hey, you've got 10 chairs. Would you like to place these 10 chairs? And it's the spawner. Spawn, furniture, and nature. Oh, I see. This object is the spawner, and you can use it to spawn this stuff. Wow, that is a tool that I've not seen in a long time. Right! Someone made this printing press mod, which was pretty cool. Turns workers into literates. I hope they do not question deities now. It was pretty neat. And the original version of Candyland. It's a mammoth petting zoo? Maybe the spawner was a mod. Okay, thank you, that helps. That explains why it is not in the UI anymore. And also Candyland. And Candyland at sunset, which is even prettier. And I really love Foxtrot, so I saved this Foxtrot because it's really kind of amazing. And kind of is relevant to Stonehearth. Check out this giant Lego piece I made out of Legos. And his mom's like, that's really clever. It's like something you'd see in a modern art gallery. You could present it as a meta-ironic statement about the futility of humankind's preternatural quest to elevate ourselves beyond our base nature via societal constructs. It's brilliant, all it needs now is a good title. And Jason's like, how about the first of many pieces for the full-sized Lego Star Destroyer I want to make? And Andy's like, a little too ironic. How about brick number 1 in gray? You can imagine that Lego block is like Microworld, and we'll just leave that there. Oh, and this is Tobias's original Stonehearth mod with the original runes, which I think looked so amazing. And like his crazy tree, like this is Yggdrasil, like the tree of the world or whatever. If you're gonna talk again, Mally, about landmarks, like, man, people have wanted these landmarks. People have been making these landmarks. Like, man, Tobias, if you're like watching this, I would really love to see this tree like in the world again somehow. And then these are like the tiny little guys, and they're added. Candyland is a mod. You can find it. Was a mod? Like Ping Relish, she did a really good job with the jellies and a lot of that other stuff. These are more of the awesome things. Right, and so like, this was also a mod, and we were like, oh my god, goblin heads on sticks. Like, I did not expect to wake up this morning and see goblin heads on sticks. And who's this guy? And why is he's wearing a goblin hat? And he's like, desaturated? Who knows? Right, and this was the first time we had sheep in the game, and you could shear the sheep for their wool, and they were naked sheep. And I think this is Alpha 2 with the shepherd, probably. And you can see that the world used to spawn clusters of sheep all over it, just like it has ore in it. And my favorite part was honestly like just looking for giant clusters of sheep and collecting them all. It was really amazing. I would like to see this in the game too. This was a complete natural disaster accident with the old terrain generation, and it was just like, how are these sheep in here, and will they ever get back out? And like, it was just like a sheep trap. More sheep! See, I was just completely enamored of finding a world that was full of sheep. And like, all I wanted to do was spend all of my time like working on collecting sheep so that we could have more sheep. Like, forget everything else. Forget the whole rest of the game. Like, it could have just been a sheep farming game, and I would have been very happy. And I just love the proportions on the sheep. Like, I don't know, they're really adorable. Like, this sort of like angle on like the wombat and the angle on the sheep and the way that they're staring at you, it's really good for me. And then I think this was Repeat Pan. Was this one of yours or Pandemic or something? Like, you guys were like, hey, screw this with the grid. Like, we're just gonna put the beds whatever. And I was like, no, this isn't working for me. like no, you can't have things at these angles in Stonehearth. It's not okay. But like, Pandemic actually does it in his renders, and they're beautiful. This is more Stonehearth, the mod. I can't remember what this is. I can't remember if this is a bug or if this is someone's mod and it's just the loincloths. Like, this seems to imply to me that someone was trying to add like outfits to their hearthlings when the outfits had been saved wrong, and so they're just off. Yeah, okay, the trees are different too, so this is a mod. Okay, I would say that the game is ending. I wouldn't say that the game is dying. Like, I think that that's a little bit too pessimistic. It's sort of like, you know, the end, and then you move on. And it's actually not dying, because you're all modding it, so anyway. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's the scribe mod! That's right! It was like a pile of paper and stuff. And I wouldn't also say that it's also like a celebration of the game per se. I like to think of it as a celebration of all the things that you built. Because, like, a lot of the pictures here are gonna be stuff. Right, and this was like... Okay, at first you could only shear sheep, and then you could like kill sheep, and then I just thought it was like really terrible to have the sheep stare at you like while you hover over the like axe sheep thing. Maybe that was like not the right idea. Right. Okay. Right. Bunnies. Bunnies. And then we added bunnies, and it was like, oh no. Right, this is everyone sleeping with the head displaced from the bed, so you can see their heads are all on the floor, except for some reason the carpenter. Not clear. So, you know. Right, so people used to really enjoy deforesting the world, and that would cause so many problems because there would be logs everywhere. Logs, like just logs, endless logs. Like, if you do this to the world, you will kill the Pathfinder, you'll kill the... No, we had to stop. This had to stop. So if you look now, like, that's why there's a max region on the drag tool, and if you harvest too many logs, the ants get angry. This was a Stonehearth Minecraft, like, UI thing. Oh, right, no, it's Pandemic's, right, Pandemic. Teaser pic of today's update. Nudge, nudge, wink. Okay. Foxhole Pirate's like, you're modding the wrong game, my friend. Fire pit. Can you move the fire pit? What happened? Oh, hey, Pandemic. Yes, your Minecraft texture pack project, yes. And then this was like, can you move the fire pit? What happens if someone tries to move an object after it's been placed in the world? See, they're all still sitting here and the fire pit's here now. Anyway. Right. Yes. The shepherd version of the men's fitness magazine. Fake zine. Yes, thank you. This is you, Repeat Pan, right? First pictures of Steffers Giordamo Jr. The baby doesn't look like Steve at all! Shocking revelation, we never wanted the AI to be smart. Did Radiant lie to us? The secret crash key, how to find and use it. Building walls is out. 50 reasons tell you why. Save code by using secret Lua events. Radiant hates them. Special feature, I would never have been able to climb Mount Everest if I didn't know how to set breakpoints properly. Indeed. Thank you, Repeat Pan. Okay, portrait placeholder. This was Tom's first picture. Like, this is the first time he tried putting in, like, citizen's pain. Nikki, if you're watching this, like, oh my god, we cried a lot. Like, how do we just stuff all this data in here? And Nikki's still crying because there was, like, all this data. And also these attributes, they were probably a mistake. Because, like, if you think about the fact that it went in the wrong direction, because, like, we didn't want you to, like, micro knit about these numbers, but these numbers are based on this number, and so the variance is, like, small. Like, you can't have much variance between these three because they're based on this. I'm sure Richard or Luke could tell you what a much better way of doing this would have been, but we'd never done one before, and, like, we tried looking at different stat systems that we liked and tried to pick one that worked, and in the end, most of these are not actually all that important as you play the game. It's mostly these that are important, and yeah, it was... See, traits! We had traits all the way back here, and personalities that were supposed to change how... The personalities actually changed the journal entries you get, but it still doesn't matter. Anyway, there's a lot of things that we wish we could have done better. And we used to have this idea of having a celebration happen on your birthday. Right! This is Sheil Patel, who used to write me at contact@Radiant with lots and lots and lots of ideas, and I really, really loved your ideas, Sheil. I don't know if you are still following, but I'm glad you enjoy thinking about Stonehearth, because I don't think your mom let you buy the game. Right, so I feel like these are just examples. I wanted to save them of examples of really amazing ideas that you guys would send us, and that I really appreciated, and that really, like, gave me strength and energy. Like, you know, yeah, I really appreciated it. You can't see those anymore because it's not actually all that important, Microlost. Like, we used to have an idea that they would change how people behaved, so you'd really want to know about them, but since they have no gameplay stuff, it's hard to... We just decided to spend the space on other things. Right, so this is like when the carpenter promotes themselves. For a while we had a problem getting the saw in the right location. So they would, like, stab themselves in the face with the saw, like, as they promoted themselves, and I wanted to commemorate that. I wasn't sure what this was about. Right, I don't know why I drew this, or if someone else drew this, or what. I can't remember anymore, but I thought it was amazing. More from Sheil. More from Sheil. I don't know, it was just really special. Oh right, this is like someone taking the houses and making them into like an actual cozy place, and I feel like that's so much what stood out for me about Stonehearth at the beginning, like everyone trying to make cozy things. Yeah. And I feel like that really told us where we should take the game. Like, this is a game about cozy places. This is a game about intimacy. This is a game about... Like so many people were like, man, I'm so disappointed that the game didn't become a city builder. But it was when we were looking at the stuff that you sent that I thought, oh man, this isn't a game about scale. This isn't a game about exploration. This is a game about nurturing these people and making a space for them. And if I have any... My primary regret, I think, is that we didn't know that sooner, so we couldn't set that expectation. I think it's a thing we discovered. Like, if there's a story to this, I guess 2 hours of looking at old pictures, it's that we discovered the soul of the game as we went. And that discovery process meant that a lot of things people were expecting kind of had to get let go, because a game can only have one soul. And, you know, the soul of a game that is this game, but like an epic city builder with like epic battles between people and grand exploration, that's a really good game too, but it didn't turn out to be this game. And so I think, you know, trying to be true to the Kickstarter promises, but also try to make a good game, like that's a really hard tension. And I really think that if I had better understood this, I'd followed games for my entire life. I didn't know this. But if people better understood this, I feel like there'd be a better conversation around games in general, and around creators and around people who engage with them. So, yeah, it takes a while. Okay, more coziness, more special moments. Oh, I think this is Maturion's Egypt Total Conversion mod. So like, look, it's like different trees, and like we have different kinds of houses, and like this is people chaining together the simple 1x1 house to make different interesting looking structures, and it was amazing how far you guys pushed this. More about Saw promotion. Right, like, so this micro lost translation, like this is a different Stonehearth, and I think that someone should go make that game, because I think it would be pretty amazing. Right, this is when we were messing with like, how should the Carpenter's Workshop UI flow be? It actually was not very intuitive. We worked on it. It had lots of different shapes. If you play the game between Alpha 1 and Alpha 10, like, the workshop doesn't work that way. Okay, so one of the things about being a startup is that you don't get free food. Everyone actually goes out of their way to buy food, to fill the kitchen with food. And so this is like, I just wanted to remember what our kitchen was like, because this is what was going on in our kitchen. Like, whose handwriting is this beautiful? Like, I'm really jealous. Someone in our office has really amazing handwriting. So yeah, it's just I think the act of everyone bringing in food for everybody else is actually a really communal part of startups, and I kind of miss it. And in fact, it's kind of self-indulgent too, because nobody really wants to eat all of these themselves. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy like a ridiculous amount of something that I like, and maybe someone else will like it too, or maybe everyone will hate it. Anyway, so yeah, so cool. Like a memory of what startup culture was like. Okay, more pictures of Alpha 1. Someone uploaded this to Discourse, I think, and I just thought it was amazing. Like, as a pitch for like how a game works, I just thought it was really special. Like, robos can reproduce by building copies of themselves. However, since Robo Community just crashed on Hearth, they have no blueprints. They must start from scratch, retro-engineering themselves. This will be done through the Robo Creator profession progression. As the Robo Creator makes progress, it can create better and more complex robos. So Robo Worker becomes Stone Golem Creator, 2 Metal Golem Blueprints, Metal Golem Carpenter, Metal Golem Creator, plus Robo Blueprints becomes Robo Creator. I mean, like, this was an amazing game all by itself. Like, I was just super happy. Like, wow, I hope you go make this mod. Thank you for sharing it. One of the things that really, Jeffers, you really helped me with, and I saved this thing because I felt like it was emblematic of the relationship that you had with me and the rest of the forum. Like, this was like me trying to tell people, like, hey, you can get your alpha here. And you just have this, like, real gift of helping me contextualize the people screaming on the internet in a way that made me feel like not a terrible person. Like, this is Jeffers writing to me, like, in the words of one of my favorite comments on the dev blog, why updates so slow? Such magnificent prose. I love you all so much. I like to think of you as an extended family. I know it is not reciprocal, but in the den I've constructed behind the offices, I have learned to cope. And he made himself the expectation manager because he was trying to help people manage their expectations for what Stonehearth would be, because he could tell, long before we could tell, that, like, the game was not going to turn out the way people expected. So thanks so much. I saved this because I really appreciated it, and in the moment when you sent it, I really needed to hear it. Right, this is when we had sheep and they were culling through the world, and I just thought that they were amazing because they looked like stepping stones through the grass. Okay. Any chance at all of making it to X1? I'm not sure what that means. There's a magnificent amount of sass on that one. I don't know, like, huggles. Right. This is our first trapper, and the rabbit. Oh, this is Gold Medal! I started saving her art because it was so amazing. She's like, trap magic! And then the trap, like, appears and, like, coalesces around the rabbits, and then they're like, what's going on? Why am I in a trap? Originally, Tom had the idea that the trapper had a gun that would seriously, for reals, shoot square traps out of the mouth of the gun and around the rabbits, and it was amazing, and we couldn't figure out how to make it work. And then there was this, which is a moment from Alpha 2 where there's a lot of rabbits, and also half of the trees got replaced by sample object. Yes. That was cool. More Gold Medal. Like, trap! You can either harvest it, turn it into a feather or chicken, or you can turn it into a friend! Yay! This is before we had Poyos, so, you know, she was prescient. And more designs from Gold Medal. Block of wood plus feather is wooden arrow. Block of wood plus feather plus iron is iron arrow. And, like, turkey plus fire is cooking! Like, this is before there was cooking, before there was turkeys, before there was anything, before there were different kinds of arrows. Gold Medal, you rock. Okay, more designs from Gold Medal. Like, maybe you can have a poultry farm by adding a gate to some fences. And then, like, randomly the poultries produce, like, eggs or chicks. And it was pretty cool. Why not a crossbow that uses a net for a cage? Yeah, I think it was just this feeling of, like, how do you wrap the... Anyway. Yeah, it would have ended up being like a crossbow, probably. But also, that's, like, also super steampunk. Okay, so I really like this picture because I guess, like, I just feel like it expresses how we sometimes felt as developers. And, yeah, something was happening with the Hearthling eyes that were causing them to, like, shoot out of their faces. And Chris was like, I don't know what I did. I have no idea. I'm sure it's fine. Right, I'm a huge fan of Mass Effect, so I thought that this was just worth noting. This was the first time we had corn, and, like, this was when I started working on farming, and this was the original farmer, the farmer male and female outfits. Originally, farm fields had a little notice board in front of them, and you would change the farm contents by changing the notice board, and that was how you brought up the UI. And then, like, I don't know if there's, like, pictures here, but every now and then you'd get Amazing Maze, and there'd be, like, two pieces of, like, two heads that came out of the farm thing. And also, the farming minigame, which we didn't end up doing, but you can see that the farm plots have different colors of dirt, and based on the color of dirt, it has a chance to produce a different kind of corn. And, this is, like, the farmer, like, and so good, excellent quality dirt or whatever. This is before we had furrows. The farmer promoting themselves. This is the first time we tried to have little rocks in the game so that the, like, world wouldn't seem so green. Right, analytics, like, I don't know why we had a really good day on the 12th. So this is when we added furrows so that it looked more like the screenshots and the like, like original farmer outfit, and the like plants had more space to breathe. In the end, we ended up discarding the farming minigame because it was just so micro. Like, it just didn't work. And you were always constantly going back and like being like, how should I water things? And over here, in the meantime, it's chocolate version of Candyland, which is one of my favorites, honestly, because I like chocolate more than I like gummies. So those are blocks of sugar that they're using to build their houses. Giant strawberries. Here's the trapper making friends with a nest of foxes. Here is the time in Alpha 2 when the trapper could befriend as many animals as you wanted. And so, like, I have games of Alpha 2 that is just the trapper and, like, 50 foxes, like, all trailing behind him, and that's amazing. Yes, that's why there's awesome corn in the game files. I like to call it Amazing Maze. So here's the trapper with, like, a string of foxes and rabbits. If you have Alpha 2, you can still play this version of Stonehearth. It may be one of the best versions of Stonehearth, if you are like me and just like to collect rabbits. Here's the trapper falling asleep in the great outdoors, surrounded by his pet raccoons. Like, this one's particularly, like, adorable. It's just like, oh my god, can we please? Like, oh my goodness. More of the trapper running around collecting animals. I think this was a mod. This was like Bamboo and like, right, back to Nihonjin. Bamboo, you modded the UI too, which was pretty amazing. I liked it because you could pick which ones you wanted to be your pets. It was like this moral choice. It was like honestly, we, you know, a little bit like hiring. Like, it's like, oh yes, yes, I want you. No, like, I don't want you. But anyway, so more cool things from Nihonjin. This is the original, like, stone lanterns and the original effects of the stone lanterns, and like, oh no, what if you have stone lanterns everywhere? Like, what if you have Lantern City? Like, what does this do to performance? Oh my god, what's going on? Lantern Land! That was really exciting. That was when the lanterns only had contents when there was actually, when they had yellow voxels when there was light inside. I thought it was actually really amazing looking. Now it looks like acid green and kind of gross, but you know, I didn't know any better. Oh, I'm sorry. I remember now. This is a mod that I wrote to try to illustrate, like, how to mod, and it replaced berry bushes with lanterns. That's what's going on. So, in the world, I was just like, hey, guess what? You can now add things. I was trying to, like talk about mix intos and stuff. And so it was like, here's the berry bush. I'm mixing into the berry bush, like, a file called litbush.json. And I'm overriding how the berry bushes work, and I'm adding a lantern component, and so all the berry bushes in the world are now replaced with lanterns, and you can harvest those lanterns. Instead of harvesting them for berries, it turns the light on and off. Lantern dark, lit bushes, and this was just like a really simple mod we put out there a long time ago to help you guys begin to mod, and we just saw really great things. So those are all the, like, how-to mod files and Lantern Land. This is my farming test as I continue to figure out, like, how to make people farm. This is a rendering accident that happened on the farming test. Very cool lantern, more cool lanterns. Right, this was like when the harvest icon was like, hey, I'm done growing now, and like all I had for it was the companion cube. I mean, of course, the sample object. And look, like, you can now use the freestanding wall tool to make something other than square houses. That's super exciting. Yay, more gold metal! I like how the raccoon is just, like, stolen these berries. Okay, so more of my farming test. Oh my god, what's going on with farming? Everyone's still thinking about chicken! Now Doug Pryor is, like, making, like, things out of, like, walls instead of things out of fences. And then death. This was, like, the first time we introduced death, because if you need to eat, then eventually you can die of starvation, and we made this beautiful tombstone, and now people can die. And I really felt like it was, like, one of those, like, and then God made the world kind of moments. It's like, there wasn't death before now, and now there's death, and the world is forever changed. So, I feel like making a simulation game can give you a lot of insight into the Book of Genesis. Okay, build and design. This was, like, the very first version. Nikki, are you watching? Like, this is the very first version. Actually, no, that's not true. This is a first version of the building UI. So hey, like, maybe just build a wall, build a whole house, or build with free building. And it was just bananas. Like, what you could build was just single wall segments, and everything broke all the time, and Oh my goodness. And then there was a time when the farmer would like not farm like do the farm rows. He'd just pick whichever rows he wanted to till randomly, and I felt like the game was trying to tell me something. Like I just watched the farmer farm and like wait for words to coalesce out of the noise. Yes, Hearthlings dying of starvation on top of roofs still happens. I'm sorry. It does. Because sometimes they just get stuck up there and they're hungry, and if you guys have a solution for this that is not like, and then later whatever, like, let me know. For some reason, we move forward super far through time. This is a picture from Alpha 14, when we first added a whole bunch of more monsters to the game. But now we go back in time. Right. So, now this is like what houses used to look like before we had houses. I think this is around the time that we started to add monsters. And so, like, we would create these forts because you couldn't make houses with roofs on them, so you'd just have to make forts, and you'd use a gate for the door because we didn't have doors yet. And people would just, like, try to, like... These were, like, the first big thriving towns that I had. Like, where it's like, okay, we'll build, like, houses all around the outside, and we'll have farms in the middle, and we'll have beds in the middle, and, like... This was so exciting to me. So, like, this is all you could do with the building UI, and this was my very first large town, and I was so proud of myself. Right, this one. This is a game in which I tried to see what would happen if we allowed you to farm wherever you wanted, including at the top of a mountain. And, like, what can you do with farming fields? And, like, it turns out you can make the Gardens of Versailles with them. You can make messages with them. Like, and this is actually a game that has a save bug in it. So, SOS... Team Radiant has a save bug, so these people are basically saying, like, help, like, we're never gonna get off this rock, because Team Radiant has a save bug, and the minute this game crashes, we're all gonna die. Like, help, 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 help. I don't know, did I talk about existentialism? Like, yeah, this farm is all that remains? I don't think they got there. Anyway, let's move on. Those guys are gone. Like, let's look at this giant log. This is one of my favorite screenshots ever. Someone's carrying this giant log. I think Jeffers sent it to me, the screenshot. He was like, ah, the log. Like, this is the log placed in a stockpile. I don't know. Maybe it's just like you work on a game for sufficiently long, you're alone in the code, you're in a room full of your best friends and coworkers, but no one's talking, and so, like, you end up having to make these stories for yourselves. I don't know. Maybe you would deal with startup culture differently, but this is how I remember startup culture. Okay, this is me attempting to understand the AI code. Morgan, if you're watching, I know you said recently that the AI code was difficult to understand. I feel deeply for you. This is when I was going through my own feelings about it, like, and just, yeah. Look, he's sleeping on the scaffolding. That's great. That's fantastic. I feel like I want to say it was Danny Angioni who made this. I can't quite remember who, but you made this out of everyone's icons on the discourse. And I thought it was just really special, so I put it in the last Desktop Tuesday. But, like, I can look at it and I can see all of you. Like, here's phagocytosis. Like, it's just really, really cool. Like, thanks you guys for being such an awesome community that you would do this to celebrate yourselves and each other and us, and they're still thinking about chicken. This is the first farming UI that had bacon as a crop. I hope this was a mod. Like, our bacon doesn't look like this, but anyway, yes, this will enable you to farm bacon. This is Avarian trying to make Japanese-themed walls, and he's like, oh my god, how do I make the building editor put something in this like this? That was very difficult for me. That was very difficult for us. We're still working on it. No. But yeah, no, like, now you can farm turnips, and it's great. And also, I was playing Final Fantasy 14 again, because it can't, Final Fantasy 10 again, because it can't remastered for the PS3, and so I was drawing this wallpaper. Okay. Let's see. Alright. And then we had goblins, and Tom made the goblins, and then Chris gave the goblins AI, and, like, he called this the little punk, because this goblin's AI is just to steal logs, put them in stockpiles, and then set them on fire. He's a pyromaniac. This is the beginning of Party Goblin, and his, like, demented determination to, like, throw a party by burning things down. Yes, I love him. Like, look, he's so happy. Like, there's nothing he wants more than to, like, hug this log to himself as it burns. I just thought it was amazing. And look, here he is. He's, like, coming in to steal more of your logs. I actually think Chris had a much less kind name for this guy, but, you know, he just really wanted you to be annoyed. And this is the footman for the first time, like, being a footman. Like, now we have footmen, oh my god, the game is progressing. We still don't have buildings, but we have footmen, and she is, for the first time, doing her super amazing over-the-head power smash on the goblin. This is, like, I think the first elite combat picture, and, like, everyone else is sleeping. So the game is finally starting to resemble the game that maybe we're actually playing, but building still sucks, and fences are all you have to protect yourself against the goblins. Right. And then sometimes foxes can spawn on top of trees, sometimes people can look at the foxes and dream about chicken while they're eating berries. I think this picture tells a story. It might just be me. Yeah, and then there's the floating foxes. And then there's the floating fences! So we added collision to the world. And then we actually had a building editor that could build buildings that weren't square. And the scaffolding's wrong. And the collision's still wrong. Yeah, so Alpha 4's gripe list. Before we had Jira, Stonehearth members who are still following along, we had, like, just this Word doc. And it was probably one of my Word docs. And I mean, like, basically what we did was we collected every day, like, everything people were saying on Discourse, all the bugs that we saw, and we assigned them to people, and then, like, we turned them different colors, and, you know, we did this. So let's see, some of the stuff that we fixed in Alpha 4. Floating stuff, the fast forward button, better icons, the fire pit auto test failing in C++, ghost entities being broken, a loading progress bar. Like, Chris fixed some save load issues, because finally we had save load. Alpha 1 couldn't save load. Like, escape should always take you out of the UI you're in. Yay, that didn't used to work. And then we had a bunch of things, like, sometimes block parry is happening 100% of the time, so, like, combat never resolves, because everyone's always just blocking and parrying. Like, the Goblin Thief pathfinding, like, why does it appear to just stop sometimes? Workers need to run away from the goblins. Like, what happens if you're being attacked while you're carrying something? All this stuff. Like, people need to be able to walk through scaffolding because building bugs cause them to get stuck indoors forever. And then Tony's like, this is super hard! Instead, try really, really hard not to trap workers while building. Large buildings never finish. Try making any large regular building. They will be missing one wall and no one will ever be able to get to the roof. Assigned to Tony. Sorry, re-adding this because it's still happening in my build. Basically, scaffolding is built over an incomplete row of wall. Nobody can finish the wall. Me. Tony. No. Okay. So, you know, it's been going on for a while. Clicking grow walls grows many walls. Can't put doors in buildings with checkered floors. Fix that. Scaffolding traps people indoors. Look, I'm saying it again. Oh, they're waiting on lanterns. No one can build the lanterns. Feels like it takes forever. Can we speed up the work animation? So Alpha 4 was the first alpha with building, and it's 20 alphas since then. Some things, maybe, are just too hard. I wish I could go back in time and tell myself this, but let's just leave it there. I can tell you. I don't know. Okay, so, like, this was, like, one of the initial buildings we wanted to build, and it was just too small, and it couldn't finish, and, like, it was just... oh my goodness. So, now we're gonna have a lot of pictures about me frustrated about my buildings. Why doesn't this building work? Why doesn't that building work? Why doesn't this other building work? Like, oh my god, why? 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 Some more why? But we can also still think about chicken while attacking this goblin. Everything's fine. Also, maybe we don't have bodies anymore. Still fine. So, you know, the wombat, it's been around for a while. This is when we started having lots of goblins. When we started spawning goblins regularly and stuff. So, these are all the goblins, fighting all your people, and they're all still thinking about chicken. So we actually had an alpha, maybe it was Alpha 5, where we were like, we'll spawn increasing numbers of goblins. And this is the goblin punk, like, destroying your log in the background. And what happens if we turn Stonehearth into, like, a wave-based combat game? So go play Alpha 5 if you want to relive this excellent time. This is the goblins, they've killed all the people, and now they're burning all the logs together in effigy. Right, this is fine. Yes, exactly. Justin has a stuffed version of the dog on his desk. Okay, so, and then the roofs. The roofs are, like, really difficult. This is yet another version of the building UI. So, I have this interesting analysis. We're running out of time. I'm only, like, I think I'm only still in 2014, so there's, like, you know, 4 more years of pictures to go. But, the very short version is that The old UI used to be very two-dimensional. So it didn't require you to understand 3D space in order to make buildings. So you'd draw a floor, you'd raise the walls, you'd add a roof, and then you'd put doodads on, you'd edit it if you wanted, and then whatever. And I actually think there's a real purity to that, unless you want to manipulate your building in 3D space, raise the walls taller, move it back and forth, really munge with it. So the people who are like, man, I really miss the old builder, I feel like that's probably what you're missing. The fact that you only need to think in 2 dimensions in order to build a house. And people who really enjoy the new builder are like, wow, I'm so glad houses are 3D, so I'm really glad to be able to build in 3D. So I don't think we were crazy, but it was really deeply insufficient for the level of customization people eventually wanted to do. And of course, it just didn't work a lot. Okay, the original promotion UI has gone through many, many, many iterations. Right, and then Froggy's like, can you please add a measuring overlay, which we eventually did, to the tools? And then Steve Adama's like, your OCD and my OCD should go have lunch sometime. They have similar preferences. And a variant's like, would you mind if my OCD tags along? More displaced heads, more of Chris. Wow, we're going back and forward in time. Okay. More milkshake. Right, then I went to Switzerland. And then I went to Germany, and I thought it was really amazing because German houses look just like the houses that you can build in Stonehearth. They're really tall, they have a pointy roof, and you can add windows in random locations. So I thought that was pretty cool, and you know what? We're gonna fix this light problem by turning on this light. Yay! Okay, the light... when I went to Germany, I was also really, really enamored of the Kosen, stuffed animals. I felt like this box of mice was like a real box of mice, and I was just... I was over the moon about it. I ended up buying a squirrel while I was in Germany, taking pictures of windows. I'm sorry this is in here. But wearing stuffed animals on my head is a thing I enjoy doing. I don't even know what this is. I don't know why I took a picture of it. I feel like I've been punched in the face. Let's just keep going. Okay, so now this goblin is just a head, and I'm not really sure what's going on here. And it looks like a really cool badass lady, maybe Trapper fighting a goblin. And then Tony was like, okay, let's fix all the building problems by adding lots of scaffolding everywhere. And then there was scaffolding everywhere. And and then we had this collision problem is these turnips are all landing on the top of the roof because, anyway, it's good. We really like cheese balls. We love cheese balls. Tom and Tony especially, and really love cheese balls. I love bringing in cheese balls because they eat them all and feel really guilty all the while they're eating them. Then we discovered that you can draw a slab, coming out from any flat surface. So this is the beginning of the alpha with all the, planks. And everyone just being like, guess what? We're gonna make Sky City, and we're gonna make, a city on the side of a mountain, and, this was some of the best fun I've ever had with Stonehearth, making towns, graduated on the sides of mountains. Alright, now we get to, more pretty pictures of your stuff. Your actual beautiful house on the side of a mountain, based on this technology. Right, this is Tom's Weaver plushy rabbit. She loves you. A toy for children, of course. Okay, so, now we have the ability to put fixtures in walls. We're sitting in the fire pit eating jerky while thinking about chicken. We can stack tables in interesting and innovative ways. People can now, this is I think the template for the single house. I really love this picture. I feel like this was a Halloween picture. It was really amazing. This was me, again, making houses on the sides of hills. Houses now mostly complete most of the time. Someone made this? I'm not really sure what this is. Did Tom make this? Was this you? Was this someone reposting, a stream you were having about the Kickstarter? This is Tom's living room. This is my desk. That's probably the shadow of me. I don't know. Maybe you reposted it and so we remembered it here. More early houses. More early houses. Right, this is one of our professors, asking us if we could do something for class for them. This was the first time that I feel like I took a picture of Stonehearth and it actually looked like Stonehearth. We have a lot of templates actually, so I don't think we're gonna create any more templates at this point, but you can find about 1 million templates on Steam Workshop, so... Oh hey Moi! Okay. Right, and people actually sending me pictures of houses and towns that look amazing. Actually, this looks like the Presidio in San Francisco, but, and then, like, cool, like, more cool mods. Like, I think this is Froggy, where everyone's a frog, maybe? And, like, it was just like, here's my Halloween mod, and I was like, oh my god, can I just play this? Different kinds of armor, more of Maturion's Egypt mod. Like, this raccoon really wants to help you build this roof. I remember this email. I just really loved it. To me, at Contact, I designed the best combat system and mana cost calculating system. I will give you my game design for free. Be serious, I have the best game ever, and you will make it, and you will gain millions of money. Take me serious. I played all games, and I watched all game videos, so I know what is a good game and what is a boring game. The combat system will be for combat strategy RPG games. We can use the system in single-player MMO and card battle games. If you're interested, send me an email, and I will send you everything. Thank you. Then you'll ask questions, and I will answer them. Stonehearth is a colony survival game. Everyone loves funny FRP games. You can play as a turtle or a chicken, you can shoot fireballs or cannons, you can flirt with an NPC, you can craft, you can sell, you can collect, you can use your strategy and style for being unique. In this game, everything is random, so you'll never get bored. I'm just gonna move on now. Someone made awesome shields and helmets. More awesome shields and helmets. This is the first time we had the, like, UI that told you what people were doing. I can't remember what like, maybe, oh, right, Hyrule Warriors. I was really excited about Hyrule Warriors. Okay, sorry, that wasn't supposed to be in this folder. This is like a giant stack of chairs, I think? Oh, it's a giant stack of beds. It goes up into forever. More, like, sorry, there's some bugs in here. Like, I actually have a separate folder from surprises that's bugs, and some of them have been made it. First time we had upgraded worker outfits. First time we had a UI that would tell you what the Hearthlings were, like, thinking about doing, maybe, good luck. This was, like, my early, like, hey, this is the Weaver's Workshop, this is the, like, Carpenter's Workshop. I think, you know, Spellblade, you say, like, someone doesn't know how the game industry works. I really feel like I saved a lot of these, because I feel like they represented how I felt. And, like, as I kept going, like, there kept being this increasing discrepancy between how, like, when I read these emails and, like, completely understood where they were coming from, and when I read the emails and, like, felt myself drifting from where they were. And I feel like that's the education process. It would be cool if we could all go on. First red alert! You know, this is, like, actual town. Town is actually working. Like, people are eating different kinds of food, but they're still thinking about chicken. Right, so remember I said we were, like, super experimenting with goblin armies? Like, well, anyway. Ogo's Army. Like, early edition. Just, you know, saying. Ogo's Army triumphant. Like, look, it's like, there's the berry bushes, right? And, like, now they have the berry bushes. Now they have your wooden sword. Now they're burning your wooden sword. Like, emergent behavior is awesome. And it is 1 o'clock. So, Angelo, whenever you're good, feel free to come in. If not, I, like, have another 3 years of photos. I can just keep doing this. So, whenever you're ready. More cool pictures from you guys. More cool bugs. This is the first time that we tried having multi-storied buildings. It only kind of worked. Hello? Hello? Is there anyone on the other side of the door? Hey, Justin.
There's Albert.
Oh, is it like the haunt thing?
The what?
It's haunting.
I'm hiding.
You're hiding.
Oh,
that was incredibly effective. Well, hey. How do you feel? Are you here instead of Angelo?
No, Angelo's coming.
Oh,
so
awesome.
We'll talk about details of the Mac OS port.
Oh my god. Well, that's really exciting.
It'll be fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And here he is.
Oh my god! Alright, the man of the hour. Okay, well, if I return later today,